Well, new cases of COVID have been gradually dropping around the country, although experts have cautioned that new infections are still at a high rate and further decline is probably going to be pretty slow.
Joining us on the KOGO News Live line, cardiologist Dr. Fahmi. Farah, good to have you back, doctor.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So are we turning the corner on this at all?
I hope so. We do see nationwide the numbers have declined slightly, although I wouldn't put anyone's guards down just because we have seen many waves where we go down a little bit and then we come back up. Predominant variant right now is Delta variant. It's still highly contagious. So we highly encourage people to continue to wear masks, continue to avoid crowds, and definitely vaccinate.
So what could a future spread look like? Because it seems like this is, or at least what we're told, is that this is really a pandemic of the unvaccinated at this point, though vaccinated people are still getting sick.
To some degree, that is correct. The majority of the numbers that we're seeing in the hospital, the people who are really sick, they are the unvaccinated ones. Majority of the deaths that we're seeing as a result of the Delta variant is also predominantly in those who have not been vaccinated. There are some breakthrough cases in those who have been vaccinated, but they're not getting nearly as sick, and the fatality has been quite low in that group.
Let's talk about boosters because there are a lot. There's a lot of confusion right now. Okay, because we hear, Pfizer, is preparing boosters, but we have not heard anything about Moderna. And people are saying, well, can I go ahead and get a Pfizer booster if my first 2 shots were Moderna?
I would still advise to stick to the dose you've gotten. If you receive Moderna, I would say take Moderna as your booster and vice versa. If it's been Pfizer, take Pfizer. Just because we don't know what the effectiveness would be if it's been crossed, between the two. We don't have enough data for that. So I would say stick to the same one that you've gotten for the booster.
And are the boosters the same dose that you get as the initial shots?
Yes, they are still about the same. They're exactly the same as the first one. And Pfizer, we're advising both. The booster shots are available for both Moderna and Pfizer. And those who have received Pfizer, especially if it's been more than 6 to 8 months, they are encouraged to get the booster, especially because the immunity in the Pfizer vaccine is lower than what we're seeing in Moderna after that period, the 6 to 8 months. It's coming down into the 60 to 70% for Pfizer group.
Let's talk about myocarditis, because this seems to be a problem that is happening primarily in young men getting certain shots. Do we know why this is happening?
And I want to clarify regarding the myocarditis. I know there's a big scare going on regarding this, but let's put things in perspective. Myocarditis, first of all, it's an inflammation of the heart muscle itself. More cases of myocarditis we're seeing in people who are not vaccinated and are getting the COVID virus itself. Very few people have gotten, there are some who have gotten myocarditis as a result of the vaccine, but that number is very insignificant in comparison. So, and that could honestly happen from any vaccine. So we can't really say that is it just because of COVID vaccine is that unique? I don't believe so. From the data we have so far, that number is quite minuscule. So I would still advise people who are eligible to get the vaccine to not be fearful of this and get the vaccine, because the converse is actually a lot worse, getting myocarditis from the vaccine virus itself.
All right, cardiologist Dr. Fahmi Farah joining us on the KOGO News Live line. And thank you again, doctor.
Well, thank you for having me.